It can be so confusing when you're trying to figure out what parts of St. Pete to live in and what parts to avoid, because they definitely have both. So in this video, I'm going to break it down. We're going to go over the map together, and I hope to make it simple for you. Let's get to it. Everybody, I'm Emily. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Florida, and I live in the Tampa St. Pete area. And this channel is dedicated to all things living, working, playing, and especially the real estate market in Central Florida. So if that resonates with you, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you're notified when I drop new videos weekly. And also don't forget, you can leave me a comment below. I do read them. It might take me a little bit, but I love hearing from everybody. And as always, if you have any real estate related questions, I can't help you if you don't reach out. My contact information is below. You can jump on my calendar and we can have a 30-minute consultation and talk a little bit more privately about some of your real estate goals and relocation needs and see if I can't help you out. So today, I wanted to break down with a map view a little bit more about St. Pete because it's becoming a huge question with a lot of my relocation clients, and it can be very confusing, especially when you're looking at the MLS or even Zillow. I highly recommend, as always, working with a professional, whether it's me or another licensed professional within the state of Florida, so that you can get a bird's eye view of what's going on in the market in that area. Also, that professional should be setting you up on an MLS search. That search is really going to help you as well. So it needs to be carved out really specifically within St. Pete. So let me get to the map and show you what I'm talking about. So if you're not too familiar about where St. Pete sits in relation to Tampa, here you go. You can easily view this yourself on Google Maps, but I thought I'd break it down a little bit for you. St. Pete is just to the west of Tampa, and it's connected by several bridges. You've got the Courtney Campbell, you've got the Howard Franklin, and you've got the Gandy. The Gandy is the one that pretty much connects South Tampa to St. Pete. South Tampa is another wonderful little neighborhood or suburb. I keep saying neighborhood, but really it's a suburb of Tampa, and it's very high end and lots of big houses. So a lot of people commute to downtown St. Petersburg that way. Also, getting to Tampa more easily is always going to be that 275. That's a little bit easier. They're doing a lot of construction right now, widening it. That's your best bet. But if you're trying to get from Tampa to Clearwater, you're going to go Courtney Campbell. That's usually the way that I go. So anyway, let's go back to St. Pete. So when you're coming into St. Pete, I want you to get familiar with the 275 because that's going to be your most north and south dividing line when you're looking at neighborhoods. St. Pete is designed in a way that, of course, everything around the bay and around the Gulf is going to be wonderful neighborhoods. For the most part, they are. They have very different feels. You're gonna have to drive around to kind of get used to that yourself and see what works for you. But you have to really watch out for the inland part of St. Pete because not all neighborhoods are created equally in St. Pete. Lots of diversity in culture, which I've talked about in several other videos. Lots of art, lots of urban feel, but you also have to be careful because St. Pete, back in the day, back in my day, bad boys, what you gonna do? Remember that show? It was on everybody's radar was that show called Cops? It was on everybody's radar for, meth, that sort of thing, just a little bit of drug action. So things are obviously in 30 years, they're turning around and neighborhoods are turning around as well. And so when you're really trying to break down St. Pete, I'm gonna give you, in my opinion, the easiest way to break it down. You're gonna if you're coming from the airport, from the Tampa airport, you're gonna get on 275 and really watch the areas change as you're coming into, you have Feather Sound over there on your right when you're heading south. And this area over here, I forgot what it's called. Let me see, my map will populate. Woodwind Point. So this area over here, of course, you've got the bay, you've got a lot of wonderful little areas to kayak. So it's very much a mixed bag because there is some industrial in this area and not all neighborhoods are great. But if you can stay in this little area right here, you're doing pretty good. I'll tell you a couple of points of interest that I love on this north part of St. Pete. I love the Getaway. Where is the Getaway? Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. There it is. There's the Getaway, and there's also the Beach Mangroves. So right along here, people park their car and you can just launch anything you got. You basically, a little boat, a little stand-up paddleboard, kayak, whatever. And there's Gandy Beach right here. And it's really beautiful. Not to mention you've got all these mangroves. So Weeden Island is where I kayak the most, and it's really beautiful. It's very shallow, actually. You have to be careful of the tides, but the getaway, you could do all of this kayaking, and then you could kayak right all in here as well. Lots of manatees in here because they can nestle in and they stay warm. But the getaway, you can basically bring your boat, your stand-up paddleboard. There's a little area for you to park it, and it's an outdoor kind of tiki bar experience, spread out sand, great food. Highly recommend it. You also have the Derby Lane of St. Pete, huge Goodwill as well, and all this other commercial, as well as apartments. So you're going to find a lot more affordable apartments up in this area. Don't be afraid of this area. It's not bad. Barclay Estates, good area as well. Some of this area is also unincorporated. So if you're looking for the no HOAs, and you can have a little less restrictions on rentals, but I'm going to advise you in St. Pete in particular, if you're looking for vacation rental properties for Airbnb and that sort of thing, check with your agent or me. Each listing is going to have a different zoning restriction, and they're doing a lot of shifting and changing of that. So it's not cut and dry. You're going to have to kind of go neighborhood by neighborhood. Some incorporated neighborhoods you can rent however you want. But as we start talking about going down on south of 275 into St. Pete, there are more restrictions. But we're going to talk about the Gulf side as well. We'll get to that. We've also got Riviera Bay, and you're noticing too on my map here, all these little canal communities. Wonderful, wonderful place to live. Have your boat in your backyard, do some kayaking. And again, you're very close to the bay over there. So let's keep going south on, 275 is over here on the west side, but I'm going to talk to you about this right here. So as you see 275 right here, you can take this, which is 687. 687 becomes 4th Street. So 4th Street will take you all the way down into the heart of the fun of St. Pete. It would be a really good idea for you and your family, or you and your significant other, to really focus in on this area. Right along here, okay? There's an area I've talked about before on another video, and that's the historic Old Northeast. And take a look at this real quick from a map point of view. You've got Snell Isle right here. You've got the Coffee Pot Bayou right there. And you've got the Vinoy Golf Course Golf Club. And historic Old Northeast is a really beautiful little community where you've got the brick lane streets, you've got the craftsman style home, and it's just a beautiful little neighborhood. There's a lot of different home styles. There's some really large homes, very expensive homes, and there's still some little Florida bungalows as well as those historic St. Pete homes. So you kind of have a little bit of everything in this area, but it is not cheap. It tends to be in that 400 and up range. And as we move over from the old Northeast, we're going to move into this Crescent Heights area. You'll see you've got Trader Joe's there, Fresh Market. You've got all these great little shops up and down this 4th Street here. And you're not going to find as many of the big box stores. You're going to have to go probably a little bit more north, a little bit more inland to find like the Targets and the Walmarts and that sort of thing. But if you're looking for a little bit more of an eclectic feel, the little mom and pop coffee shops and little quaint eateries or little eclectic stores, St. Pete has got that in spades. So Crescent Heights, Crescent Lake, just below it, another neighborhood I really, really love. And of course, it's just west of historic Northeast on the other side of 4th Street. So you really can't go wrong. Some areas that I'm starting to hear that are popping up on my radar because they're being turned over again, some of the regentrification that I've mentioned in other videos. This Woodlawn, Greater Woodlawn, as well as Euclid St. Paul's. You just have to be careful. If curb appeal is really important to you, you're probably not going to get the best looking house on the outside, but you never know what's going on the inside, or you're just going to have to put some love into it yourself. It's really hit or miss. But as you go more towards the west side of 275, there's just some neighborhoods over here that I honestly can't vouch for. They just, even when I've driven them, and I'm going to do a walking tour very soon of St. Pete so that I can show you guys what I'm talking about. but not Kenwood, because we're going to talk about Kenwood. We like Kenwood. There's just some areas to just kind of be wary of. But I've been hearing St. Pete Heights, this Norwood Heights and Ponce de Leon, this is becoming another affordable area. So they're starting to clean up some of these neighborhoods, and they're starting to regentrify the area, as well as kind of flip some of these homes and make them a little bit more conducive to everybody that's wanting to relocate and have this cool neighborhood. So let's also talk real quick about North Kenwood. North Kenwood breaks my rule when I say don't go west of 275, because it is west of 275. It's right here. And it's a great little neighborhood. It's got brick lane streets, bungalow homes, lots of color, lush gardens and palm trees and all sorts of stuff. It's really beautiful over there. Wonderful community. And again, all of this, by the way, is a very quick Uber ride to downtown St. Pete if you want to go out that night or go to dinner with your significant other, or even take the family down to the pier and you don't want to worry about parking. So let's move on down the map to the south part of historic Kenwood, to Grand Central District, as well as downtown St. Petersburg. This area is just cool. Let's start over here and I'll tell you why. First off, you've got the Vinoy Park. And you've got the Vinoy Hotel right over here as well. The Vinoy Park is beautiful. You're going to see people on segways. There's a bunch of segway tours. There's a lot of little boating tours that you can take to go see dolphins and that type of thing. If you're interested in that, you can also just take your bike or walk around, because there's tons of walking in St. Pete, especially along the bay there. And as you move further south, we've got our brand new St. Pete Pier. It used to be a smaller pier. I forgot what happened to it, but anyway, it's taken a couple of years and we now have this beautiful, huge area that's very wide open. And it was amazing during COVID when we were all kind of trying to be careful. You could go there, have a great view, shop a little, eat a little, and you still could be safe because it's just wide open. In the center here of this area, there is some shopping, as well as an outdoor pizza parlor kind of thing, where it's almost like you walk up and create your own pizza. And they do serve alcohol. And as you get down to the end here, there's this big tall building, and it's got like a coffee shop at one part. I think there's a nature area, like a nature museum in there. And then there is a tiki bar at the top. There's a restaurant in the middle. I'm not a big fan of the restaurant in the middle. Prove me wrong, go there, eat, tell me what you think. I don't want you to take just my opinion on that, because we do have great food in St. Pete. So there's also Doc Ford's, which is a really great restaurant, and you do need reservations in there. And there's also parking right here, this Pelican lot. And you'll also see that there's a marina just across there as well. So it's beautiful views all along here. You can walk up and down, and there's a splash pad area for the kids. And there's also Spa Beach, which you could actually sit at as well and enjoy the bay. Okay, moving right along. Let's head a little bit more west down 2nd Street into downtown. The great thing about St. Pete and the downtown area is it is just rich with culture and art. We've got the Chihuly exhibit. We've got the Florida Holocaust Museum. We've also got the Dolly Museum down here by the airport, which is stunning. And then we also have Tropicana Field. All along Central Ave, you're going to just find a ton of places to eat, great food, great walking, great little shops. And you see parking. There's plenty of parking. I've never not found a parking spot in St. Pete, I'll tell you that. And the great thing about it too is that you can park a little far away and you can still walk everywhere and you're totally fine. You can also rent bikes and scooters. They have all that, those available with, you slide your card. Everybody's doing that now in these cities. And as you keep going over here, you're going to see Three Daughters Brewery, Imagine Museum, Contemporary Art and Glass, some more restaurants. And then as you see, it kind of is under that south part of East Kenwood. But as you kind of get more over here, you just have to be a little wary, okay? So things are turning over. I'm hearing things are shifting with Jordan Park and Childs Park, but let's see. And 13th Street Heights. So you can go a little south. You're just gonna have to use your best judgment when it comes to areas. Visit it at night, visit it during the day, see what's going on. So just use your best judgment when it comes to looking at these areas. But notoriously, the downtown area is gonna be expensive. Just depending on what your budget is, you're gonna have a lot more opportunities for condos and high rises. a lot of those, work live spaces. So keep in mind, you're going to have an additional condo fee in a lot of these condos. But again, a lot of them are brand new. So if that's what you're looking for with that downtown feel, and you want to be close to the beach without actually bringing sand into your condo, this is the place. This is the area. You can leave your condo, go downstairs, walk about a minute to a coffee shop or a pizza place or a nice little Italian restaurant or something like that, sushi, and then you can take your bike and ride all the way down to Vinoy Park or to the little spa beach and hang out. It's just fun, fun, fun. One of my favorite places. Let's travel a little bit more south into St. Pete past downtown. And this is where it gets a little tricky. There's an area here called Bartlett Park, and it's starting to turn around a little bit. So those are going to be probably under 300,000. You've got Tropical Shores. Tropical Shores is going to be a little bit more expensive because obviously it's right there by the bay. And it's in the Old Southeast. Old Southeast is a beautiful little area as well. These homes are really, really cool. And a lot of them have wonderful palm tree lined streets. Some of them still have the brick lane streets. And you've got this park right here that's really great. That's got biking and walking trails. It's called Lessing Park. And if we go just south of that, one of my all-time favorite areas, if I can find it on this map, hang tight, is Driftwood. Driftwood is a small little community right here along the water. Oh my goodness. If you are looking for waterfront peace and quiet within like a jungly nature experience, this is it. I was looking for it because I'd never driven it before when I was doing some videos early on about St. Pete. And I found it and I couldn't believe it's actually what it is. I'd heard about it, but it's really beautiful. You should take a drive over there. So if I scroll out a little bit on my map, and let's talk a little bit about some of these inland communities. This Distant Heights area, this is starting to again have that turnover and a little bit more affordable housing as you're moving away from all of the hubbub of St. Pete. It's definitely a different feel. You should drive it yourself and see what you think. But it is an area that you might want to put on your list if you are under that $400,000 budget for a home. And just north of that, Pinellas Park is also not a bad area. Pinellas Park was notoriously a retiree community, and it had a lot of those 55 and over RV parks as well as communities. And now that's starting to turn a little bit. Yes, you're going to find some of those 55 and over communities, but you're also going to find some really beautiful houses. But it is nestled in some areas that are a little bit more on the industrial side. So just be aware of that. You're going to have to drive around, but I would not discount it just yet. Because again, look, you're right there near Walmart and Toyota. You're right in the hubbub of some of those big box stores. So I was talking about that you have to go a little north for. So that's a basic broad stroke of St. Pete. It's really densely populated, so it's really hard to explain each neighborhood and each street very well because you kind of have to walk it yourself. Like I said, I'm going to do a walking tour, and that's going to probably be a couple parter, based on the neighborhoods and the areas and maybe even by price point. If you have a suggestion, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to, say, or if there's things that you want to add to this, or if you have a suggestion of how I can make this a little bit easier. St. Pete is definitely one of the more difficult areas for me to explain to people who don't live here. But I hope that helps you out a little bit, understanding the coolness and the eclecticness of St. Pete on top of a little bit different, neighborhood vibes. And if you have any questions, again, please reach out to me. If you're thinking of relocating to the Tampa, St. Pete area, I'd also love to hear from you so that we can help you on your journey preparing for that. It's going to get crazy, guys. So if you're really determined to move here, let me be your resource so I can help you and get you on your way, as best as I can. Again, I hope this video was helpful to you to kind of understand St. Pete a little bit better. Again, we'll do another video about the neighborhoods, and I'll do a little bit more of a walking tour for you. But I wanted to really specifically show you on a map what I've been talking about, because it's really hard to help people understand St. Pete. But I hope this did you justice. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. Also, I'd really love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That helps me out a lot. Don't forget, leave me a comment below. I love hearing from people. And as always, I'd love to help you with your relocation needs. So don't forget, you can reach out to me and we can get that conversation going as well. Until next time, everybody, have a good one. Bye-bye.